Hi, what is to be done to quell the violence? The constant violence, riots, looting, arson, and violations of law associated with Black Lives Matter and Antifa. When Democrat politicians refuse federal help, the solution is simple. In each city that is subject to acts of insurrection, President Trump, by proclamation, should immediately order rioters, Antifa, and violent Black Lives Matter activists to disperse and to retire peaceably to their abodes within a limited time. If they refuse, President Trump should send in the armed forces to quell the violence, rioting, looting, and arson. President Trump does not have to wait until a governor asks for help before he can send federal troops to quell an insurrection. This is a misunderstanding of the two major laws that address this issue, the Posse Comitatus Act and the Insurrection Acts. So what is insurrection? Insurrection is a violent uprising against an authority or government. The actions of Black Lives Matter and Antifa in Portland, Minneapolis, Washington, D.C., Kenosha, and other cities satisfy the definition of insurrection. They are violent uprisings against the local authority of these cities. Listen to Black Lives Matter.
If this country doesn't give us what we want, then we will burn down this system and replace it.
Threatening to burn the system down describes a violent uprising against the United States government. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 15 of the U.S. Constitution states, "The Congress shall have power to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions." The so-called Posse Comitatus Act, 18 U.S.C. Section 1385 states, "Whoever, except in cases and under circumstances expressly authorized by the Constitution or Act of Congress, willfully uses any part of the Army or Air Force as a posse comitatus, or otherwise to execute the laws, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 2 years or both, except in cases and under circumstances expressly authorized by the Constitution or Act of Congress." The term posse comitatus in common law terms is a group of people mobilized by the conservator of peace, typically a sheriff or other public official, to suppress lawlessness. So based on Article 1, Section 8, Clause 15 of the Constitution, Congress can authorize the use of militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. Well, in certain circumstances, Congress has authorized the use of the Army or Air Force to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. These are done through the Insurrection Acts. Yes, Insurrection Acts, not just a single Insurrection Act. There are 4. Originally 10 U.S.C. Section 331 through 334. Now we will discuss 1. 10 U.S.C. Section 334. It has been renumbered to 10 U.S.C. 253 and 254 if you wish to reference it later. 10 U.S.C. 334 is called the Calling Forth Act because its purpose was to give President Washington authority to call forth militia when he needed to repel invasions, suppress insurrection, and enforce laws. But only after the president issued a proclamation calling the insurgents to disperse in a limited time. Again, the Calling Forth Act has been renumbered into sections 253 and 254, but their content is basically the same as the original. In section 253, Congress gives President Trump the authority to use militia or the armed forces or both to suppress any insurrection, domestic violence, or unlawful combination. The only limit upon President Trump is Section 254. He has to first, by proclamation, immediately order the insurgents to disperse and retire peaceably to their abodes within a limited time. If the insurgents do not abide by the proclamation, then President Trump is free to send in the militia or armed forces to quell the violence. Section 253 states, the President, by using the militia or the armed forces or both, or by any other means, shall take necessary measures as he considers necessary to suppress insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination, or conspiracy. Therefore, the President has a duty to suppress insurrection. So based on Article 1, Section 8, Clause 15 of the Constitution, Congress can authorize the use of militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. Congress has authorized the President to quell insurrections under 10 U.S.C. Section 253 and 254. This exempts the President from the Posse Comitatus Act. The Posse Comitatus Act does not apply. So the violence accompanying Black Lives Matter protests and Antifa violence can be addressed easily. President Trump can and should send the armed forces into places such as Portland, Minneapolis, and Washington, D.C. to quell the violence and insurrection that local Democrat politicians have allowed and continue to allow. President Trump does not have to wait for a governor to seek his assistance. Well, I hope this helps. Have a good day.